and welcome back to the Performance Kitchen. We have an exciting episode today. Our guest is usually seen bossing the netball court, but today she's going to show us how she's a boss of the kitchen. It's Surrey Storm netballer, Mikki Austin. Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us what you're going to make today.
So today we're going to make a fillet steak and vegetable stir fry.
Amazing, amazing. Who doesn't like that? So let's go through it step by step for novices like myself. So let's just do a novice guide, as we say.
So right from the beginning, get all of your ingredients out. I've lightly seasoned the steak just with some pepper.
Okay.
Get the water on and get that boiling away.
You do that straight away?
Straight away,
okay.
Yeah. As soon as that's boiling, we can put the rice in there to get that cooking. Then we're going to slice up the fillet steak.
Slice it?
So, yeah, nice and thin. Slice the peppers. I like my mange too crunchy, so I tend to leave it and just put it straight in, but you could boil that as well if you would like.
Personal taste.
And then as soon as all of your preparation's done, put the steak inside either a wok or a frying pan, whichever you've got, with a little bit of oil. We're going to add some steak seasoning, and depending on your taste, depends on how long we're going to cook it for. I'll take as it comes, so maybe a little bit pink is fine for me. Usually maybe about 5 minutes.
Right.
As soon as the steak is almost done, we put the peppers and the mange too in there as well. Add in some Worcestershire sauce and some soy sauce and let that marinate for maybe 2 minutes. And then once that's all simmered down, get the rice out of the pan, leave that to rest for maybe about a minute, and then serve it up.
Right, you need to tell me what to do. What's
first
the
things first, should we get the rice on?
Let's do it.
If we take the rice, and we've already boiled some water, so if we just
pour it
chuck
straight
that in there, yeah.
How much rice do you normally use?
Again, it depends on your taste. Depends on the time of day that I'm eating it and what I've got later on that evening. So if I tend to have a training session, then I'll probably add maybe a cup and a half, maybe even 2 cups full of rice.
For energy, I'm assuming.
Yeah, just for a bit of more carbohydrates in there. If I've just finished a game, or this is like my evening meal, I probably only put maybe a cup at most full of rice and have more protein and vegetables.
Okay.
So if we grab some knives and we can get chopping on there.
Let's get going. We've got a couple here. I mean, these are quite big ones. Oh, someone clumsy like me.
What would you like to do, the meat or the vegetables?
I'll go with the peppers, I think.
Perfect.
I think it's safer.
So if we just switch these over.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then you can take the
Wonderful.
peppers. So you can slice them as chunky or as thin as you'd like. Again, pretty much personal preference.
Yeah, I'm going to do a long slice. That's my that's my preference there. So while we're slicing and dicing, tell us how you got into netball, because I mean, netball's a sport that's introduced to young girls in primary school, isn't it? From my memory, is that still the case?
Yeah, well, that's definitely how I got into netball. I started playing when I was in maybe year 6 at primary school.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just through PE lessons and sort of having to do it because it was part of the curriculum. And then coincidentally, my PE teacher at the time was also a netball coach for a club outside. And after a few lessons, she was like, "Oh, Mikki, like, I feel like you look like you're enjoying it and like you're pretty handy, so would you like to come along to this club?" It was called Robins back then, so I was like, yeah, of course, and pretty much from then I've never really looked back.
You just didn't stop?
No.
So what is your typical week in peak season, if you could give us a little insight into that?
Well, I also work full-time.
You work full-time as well?
Yeah, so I work at Putney High School, so I coach netball full-time. So typical day for me or week, I start work at 7:15. After I've finished my first...
You actually start work, sorry, that's not your commute.
No, that's not my travel time. I start at 7:15.
Right.
And then I have a break after my first session, and that's when I get my first training session of the day in. So depending on what day it is, I'll either do some intervals on the treadmill, or I'll do a spinning session, or I might do weights.
So it's very disciplined then, because you're doing that on your own?
Yeah, so the majority of my training is done individualised, so it's me on my own. And then we only come together on a Tuesday and a Thursday and a Saturday.
So the whole team only comes together? The
whole team comes together 3 times a week for your actual on-court netball training. And that's where you do all of your video analysts on other teams. That's where you do all of your tactical based session and just brushing up on your netball skills and drills too. And then you have Premiership training, which is a Wednesday evening. You have Premiership games, which is on a Sunday, and then in season your Super League games are on a Saturday and a Monday night.
Whew. So what would you do on a Sunday then?
Premiership.
The training?
Yeah.
Oh my, right.
Yeah, so the way that netball works is you generally get 24 hours rest in a week. So if you train on a Friday morning and you don't train again until a Saturday evening, that would be your rest, even though you train on both days.
Right, before we get carried away, what are we doing next? Boiling nicely.
Yep, so the rice is boiling away. This is sliced up. So if we get the pan on and put some oil in that.
Let's do it. Now, let's see if I can work the oven. Let's give it a whirl. What one are we on?
So just put a little bit of oil in the pan.
Yep.
And I can get rid of this. Put that
Pop it
out
on
of
there,
the way. And while it's on the chopping board, we can probably season it. So I've just got some steak seasoning in here.
What, is it called steak seasoning?
Yeah, it's literally...
What is that then?
Oh God, good question.
What does it taste like?
No idea.
Spicy?
It's got a little bit of a kick to it. There's quite a lot of peppercorns in it. You can literally season it with anything you like, to be honest.
So personal taste with this
Personal taste, yeah, again. And you can put as much on or as little as you like. So give that a little bit of a rub. I've also got a tiny bit of paprika as well, if you like a little bit of an extra kick. We can put a tiny bit of that on it. But again, that's personal taste. You can leave that off if you would like.
Sorry, I just had a moment where I was imagining it and went into dreamland because it's looking and smelling pretty good. Okay. It's a bit messy, isn't it?
It is
in your hands.
It is a little bit, but we give our hands a wash in a second once we've rubbed that in.
So this is your meal that you would choose as a pre-workout meal, mainly, or is it after?
Probably for me, it's pre.
Pre.
For the sheer fact of when I've got home from work before I leave for training, I probably have a window of about 20 minutes.
Right.
In order to eat, get my stuff together and get out of the door again. So this is like my go-to meal because you can prep it in 3 minutes, it can be cooked within 5, and then you actually get a chance to sit down and eat, which is a godsend in the world of a netballer. It doesn't happen that often.
A rare occasion, I imagine.
Exactly. So for me, it probably would be a pre-training or a pre-match meal.
Yeah.
As I say, there's no reason why you couldn't eat it after, but...
just for you, that's how it works.
Yeah, just for convenience.
And do you have like a diet plan that you're meant to stick to? Like, does this stick to it? Because it's protein.
I mean, there's not necessarily, it depends what Super League franchise you're part of and your coach and what they want from you. There's no set written rule, but of course we all want to be as fit as we can and maintain our physical ability because you know, netball's tough. It has this illusion of being a non-contact sport, but if you watch it at our level, it really isn't. And it's really quick and fast-paced. So you have to be really, really fit, especially for a mid-quarter. So, you know, everything in balance, everything in moderation, but just making sure that you are getting in as much protein, carbohydrate, vegetables as you possibly can.
Right, so steak's looking good. Are we ready to put the peppers in?
Yeah, so we can put the peppers in there.
Chuck them straight in.
Ooh, we can add our mange too at the same time as well.
So how many peppers was it? 3, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, we use 3 peppers.
And you always use 3, do you?
In my opinion, the more the merrier.
Yeah,
I love a pepper. I would eat them raw.
I eat them raw.
So,
amazing.
So yeah, I put 3 in there. Just adds a nice bit of colour as well.
So going back to netball, what about, is there a song to get you all pumped together?
Oh, good question.
If you're all friends as well, that's why I asked, because if you're like all in your social circle.
To be fair,
is it?
Yeah, there is. Our song last year at Storm was Pink, So What?
I can see how that works.
And any time I hear that song, it takes me straight back to being in the change room. We all got up and had a bit of a dance.
Just before you go on, is this?
Yeah,
like,
this was
to get you
literally
pumped
before
up.
we left the change room to go out onto the court. We were all jumping around, and we always used to laugh and be like, God, if anyone walked in and saw us, they would be like, what are you
And then when you come out, you're all composed, like no one knowing what's just been going on.
Yeah, but any time I hear that song, I think
the
of
one.
that. But it changes from year to year. The year before that, it was Dark Horse. by Katy Perry.
Oh, okay.
Because it says something about a perfect storm. Obviously,
And your storm,
exactly,
sorry,
yeah.
storm.
So I'm sure this season it'll be something totally
new.
different.
Yeah.
So now's probably a good time to add in your sauce. Again, this is personal preference. You can add
the Worcester sauce is this.
Yeah, and some soy sauce as well.
Oh man, this is a treat.
Mix it all round.
So what about breakfast? What do you have for breakfast? What time do you have to get up? If you're at work at 7:15.
So I get up at 6. I have to leave my place by 6:30 in order to get to work.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't eat at that time. I wait until after I've done my first session, which is until about 8 o'clock. And then I have oats, some porridge. I usually put some honey, some blueberries, or maybe some cinnamon in that.
So you can change it up every day.
Yeah, you can change it up every day. Obviously it's winter, so the warmer the better.
Yeah,
so some nice cinnamon or apple in that at the minute is probably my personal favourite. That's what I tend to have for breakfast. So on a game day, if I've got a little bit more time, I'll have maybe some scrambled egg, some grilled bacon,
so you get a variety. It's not
a little bit of variety.
necessarily strict as some people
I
might
think
think.
there's a really big misconception with athletes and food, and you have to eat this, and it's all really boring and samey, and it really
not.
isn't.
It doesn't sound like
no,
it.
just understanding what is good for your body and your chosen sport as well, you know.
I guess, it'd be different for each sport, wouldn't
Exactly,
it?
what I would eat would be totally different to, I don't know, what a canoeist would eat, because our demands of our sport are so different.
Definitely.
So it just depends.
So are we meant to be like looking at this, seeing how it's going on?
To be honest, once you get to this stage, you can pretty much leave it because it's done as and when you need to serve it up. So,
okay, is it just the rice then?
Yeah, just wait for the rice to be done, which, to be honest, is probably done round about now.
Most important job now then, serving it up.
Yeah, so
let's do it.
If we put some rice on the plates first, and you can actually bring that over as well if you'd like.
Let's go. Don't drop it, don't drop it.
Don't drop it. So the amount that you put is just personal preference. Probably about enough for me.
About half and half, that's great. Now, I would normally be eating this from the pan before it's on the plate. Is that something you tend to do?
I mean, it's been known to, I have been a student, so it's been known to be done before.
In the middle, do you...
You can dress it however you like.
I mean,
so
let's make it pretty.
Put it on the side.
Bit of different colours. That's what I like to do. Do you want to go for
No,
it?
you go ahead.
Right. All on me, there we go.
Beautiful.
Looks amazing, smells so good.
Yeah.
That was just so easy and quick.
So easy.
Yeah, there's a bit more veggies for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, let's pop that back on, turned it off, Brilliant. We're gonna tuck in?
Yeah.
Let's dig in. I'm excited.
Me too.
Now, do you like get it all on a bit of everything on the fork? What's
usually I just eat it as quickly as I can.
Oh, right.
But today
Shovel
I'll try and get a bit of everything on the fork.
Just savour the moment.
That is good.
That's good meat. Good peppers. Good rice.
Just good.
It's just good. Let's just take this in for a minute.
Savour the moment.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you for coming and showing us your dish.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys for watching. See you next time.